All right, let's see how this is going to work. We are live. First couple of minutes usually is me asking the question, can you see me? So folks on IRC, let me know if you can see me. I like to start this a minute early just to make sure when we get to 6 p.m. UTC, everyone can dial in. So, if you can see me, please tell me. I hate to repeat myself, but I'm going to. I can see people joining the IRC channel, which is good. Let me just check myself just to make sure if my local stream is working. Hey, Hazen can see me. Excellent. All right. Awesome. Well, it looks like we are live. I'm going to give it just another couple of seconds and then we'll get started, just because it sometimes takes a few minutes for people's video streams to spin up. I see you. Awesome. Roger Carter, I can see you for the last time. Well, I'll still be around. All right. So let's get this started. Hello, everyone. My name is Jono Bacon, and for the next 3 days, or 2 days, or whatever it is, I am the Ubuntu Community Manager, and this is my weekly Q&A session. For those of you who don't know how this works, it's very simple. We do a lot of work in the Ubuntu project to be open and transparent and to ensure that everybody can see how decisions are made and what work is going on and things like that. But sometimes people have questions, and sometimes people don't know why a decision was made, what the rationale for a decision was made, etc., etc., etc. So that's the reason why I've always had this weekly Q&A, where anybody can come and ask absolutely any question they want about absolutely anything. So asking questions is really easy. All you need to do is type in the word question in capital letters or uppercase, and then your question, and I'll go through them one by one. Please feel free, you can ask absolutely anything, any question can go. Please don't ask questions about technical support queries if your graphics card's not working, etc., etc. That's not particularly interesting, but anything else is fine. And please don't repeat your questions over and over again. I just won't answer them. So this is a little weird. I'm not going to deny it. For those of you who haven't seen the news, last week I announced that I'm going to be stepping down as the Ubuntu Community Manager at Canonical. I've been at Canonical now for coming up to 8 years. Before we get to the questions, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this. I'm sorry if this is going to sound a little rambly, but back in 2006, when I joined Canonical, it was, I heard about this job because I'd met Mark Shuttleworth through Lug Radio, and I just wanted it. For me, it was an absolute dream job. And for 8 years, it's been my dream job. I can't think of a better team to work with than the folks at Canonical, and I can't think of a better community to work with than everybody in the Ubuntu community. It's just been a remarkable experience. And when I think back to the person I was in 2006 joining, I really, frankly, didn't really know what I was doing. I've learned so much, and Canonical has provided me with the opportunity to explore lots of different things and try lots of different ideas. And I'll forever be indebted to Mark and to Jane for giving me a shot. Like sometimes people just need a chance, and they gave me a chance, and it's had just an incredible impact on my life. It literally changed my life. I got to travel the world. I got to meet lots of interesting people. I got to, to learn new things and to be challenged on my existing presumptions. And if it wasn't for Canonical, I probably wouldn't have met my wife as well. I met her through a work event that I went to. So it really has had a pretty profound impact on my life. The one thing I just want to be very clear about, because I know there's always going to be some conspiracy theories about why people leave and things like that. The place where I'm going to is I'm going to an organization called XPRIZE, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I wasn't looking for a change in position. I wasn't looking for a change in job or employment. I'm quite happy at Canonical. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to build this fantastic team. Daniel Holbach, Michael Hall, David Planella, Nick Skaggs, Alan Pope, Carl Nietzsche, just an incredible group of people to work with. So I had a great team. I have a great relationship with my boss, Rick Spencer, a great relationship with Mark Shuttleworth and Jane Silver, and the company as a whole, great relationship with the community. You know, it was a situation whereby I was just really happy with everything. But this opportunity for X Prize came along, and it was not that it's not that I'm leaving Canonical because of any kind of frustration or annoyance or anything like that, or lack of faith in Ubuntu. It's just that this new opportunity came along that I feel like I can't turn down. For those of you who don't know what X Prize is an organization that was set up by this guy called Peter Diamandis, who is basically of the view that we're in the most remarkable period of technological change and advancement, which can help to solve major problems in the world. If you look at the world, we have issues with people not having access to clean drinking water, or you know, not being able to eat enough, have access to nutrition. There's opportunities out there for us to, you know, with space travel, for education, for solving literacy, all of these different things. The X Prize Foundation was basically set up with the goal of incentivizing solving these major grand challenges. So the first one was the Ansari X Prize, which was, I believe it was $10 million, to basically create a spaceship that will go up into space and come down within 2 weeks. This basically spurned the commercial space industry that's happened. There's another X Prize that's going on called the Qualcomm Tricorder one, which is to basically build the tricorder from Star Trek to diagnose health issues and things like that. These are major you know, problems that are being solved. And my job at X Prize, they basically created this job for me as Senior Director of Community to basically build community into absolutely everything that they do. So this is building community around like major projects to solve significant human issues in the world. That to me was, you know, just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up, much as I love everything that we're doing at Ubuntu and with Canonical. So I really don't want there to be any ambiguity around this. You know, it's you know, I'm not leaving out of problems or issues. Yeah, I'm leaving on really good terms with a great group of people. This is just a new opportunity that I couldn't say no to. And I'm going to still be part of the Ubuntu community. I'm still going to be on IRC, on email. I'm going to be blogging about Ubuntu. I'm still going to be using Ubuntu. Nothing's changing there. So that's basically the situation. So get your questions. I'm sure you've got a bunch of questions about why I'm leaving and this, that, and the other. Get your questions in. We'll go through them one by one. So the first one from Chloe Wolfie Girl. Did you miss me? Chloe, I always miss you, of course, you know. Richie4422, do you love me, Jono? Why do you leave me, Jono? Seeing a theme here, by the way. Richie, yeah, I love you. I'm leaving you just... I'm not leaving, I'm just going to be spending my days somewhere else, that's all. Okay, thank you to Nivex for the well wishes. Let's go to K1L. Do you know if there will be a new community manager at all, and who is on the list so far? So yeah, the basic plan here is it's not been finalized. From what I understand, my team is going to continue to do what it does. Everyone will stay in the same position. It will continue to be part of Ubuntu engineering. There will be someone who will replace me as the leader of the team, as the manager of the team, and that person will continue to report to Rick Spencer, who is, you know, the VP of Ubuntu engineering. From what I understand, they don't want to make a complete replacement for me. The idea is that, you know, whoever is in that position won't try to do everything that I did. They will manage the team, and they will approach, you know, building, you know, managing the community team in their own way. Canonical is just very conscious to not try and create a position where people have to fill in exactly the same shaped shoes that I did. And to me, that's a good thing, because you know, having this kind of job is very personal in different ways. People approach it in different ways, and I'm not suggesting that my way was the right way. I'm happy with the things that I've done. I'm happy with the progress that we've made, but somebody else could come in and organize that, you know, be part of that position in a completely different way and focus on different things. So there will be someone who's going to have that position. Right now, the plan is that is going to be an internal recruitment. It won't be something that will be offered externally. I personally think that that's the right thing to do, because I think you need to have a lot of domain experience to really transition over, and I think a lot of people will have some internal domain experience to help with, how they balance out the canonical and the community and things like that. But there's no decision being made on that yet. I think it'll be a couple of weeks before you see anything about that. And when you see it, it'll be news to me as well. So I'm curious as well. Moondeck, is it legal to remake Ubuntu and distribute it for free? It's completely legal to take any of the pieces in Ubuntu, any of the source code, any of the free software source code, and build something else and distribute for free. People do that all the time. Yeah. In terms of using the Ubuntu trademarks, then you need to be within our intellectual property agreement, and if you're within that, then sure. Un Wilson, no question, you'll be missed. Thank you, Un Wilson. Very kind words from all of you folks. Moondeck, is it legal? Moondeck, don't repeat the same question over and over again, please. Basil, why are you leaving us? Did we say something? No one said anything. Like I say, it really is just, I think it's a good opportunity for me to go and do something new. I'll be honest with you. One of the things I was terrified about announcing this and making this decision is I really don't want anybody to think that I'm leaving on bad terms. There's a lot of people out there in the free software and open source community who are just absolutely hell-bent on seeing conspiracy everywhere they look, and there is none here. I was in Malta last week, right? We had a sprint, and I hung out with my team, and I hung out with my boss. I saw Mark and a bunch of other people, and I couldn't have left on better terms. I mean, like, I haven't seen a bad word from anyone at Canonical, and I don't have a bad word towards anyone at Canonical. So, if you see some people, I've seen some people already saying, well, maybe it's because Canonical doesn't care about the community. That's nonsense. So if you see that stuff, like, point them towards me saying this on this video. Next question. Let's see. Dan Chapman, did you and Sabdaful have a massive argument over beards, and is that the real reason why you left? That's it. Yeah, it was a facial hair related spat. Chloe Wolfigold, did Mark Shuttleworth kick you out after he found out that you were a massive elementary OS and MLP fan from Bad Voltage? No, I wasn't fired. No, that's not the reason why. Neuro, how long until you spend more time on orbit than Sabdaful? Just to be very clear, even though XPRIZE, has been involved in space-related stuff, I have no interest in going to space. I do not want to go in space. On the flight over, I watched Gravity, and I was thinking, never, right? When I go to space. Let's see. Zenel, why are the Ubuntu folders so ugly? I don't think the Ubuntu folders are ugly at all. I think they look pretty good, but it's all everyone's got their own personal view. Hey Hazen, not really a question, but firstly, thank you and your team for creating such a welcoming and enjoyable environment for me and the other core apps developers who attended the Malta sprint, and for providing this opportunity to us. Secondly, thank you for being such an inspiration to myself and others within the Ubuntu community. I'm sure many of us wouldn't have stuck around for so long without your enthusiasm. Lastly, I hope that you enjoy your new venture and join the XPRIZE Foundation, and wish you good luck in the future. Thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Andrew just mentioned, we had 6, I think it was, core apps developers kind of came out. We had Andrew and Victor and Kunal and Dacre and a bunch of other people, and it was just really great to have those guys come out. They worked their asses off for the week. Lots of great feedback to the SDK teams, to our team. It was just a really, really positive experience. Thank you to all of you guys for coming out. Addy, as to who will be my successor, I've already answered that. Don't know yet. Neuro, will you donate your sideburns to the community? Nope, these sideburns are coming with me. Neuro, what kind of question is that? Seriously. Popey, will you be sharing rooms with co-workers at XPRIZE? If so, will the other person pick up your pants from the bathroom floor? Popey, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, Popey and I roomed, and I left my underwear in the bathroom once, I think, maybe twice. Popey did not enjoy the experience of picking them up. But you know what? I'd rather leave my pants on the floor, pants on the ground, looking like a fool with my pants on the ground. That was not particularly that big of a deal compared to listening to you snoring all night, every night. Just say. I don't know if I'm gonna have to share rooms with co-workers. I don't think so. I don't know. Moondek is illegal. Moondek, stop answering the same question. Nero, did you take the SpaceX job? It's not SpaceX, it's X Prize, because they have an X in their name, and thus sounds cooler than Canonical. X Prize does sound cool. I'm not going to deny it, but that was not the reason why I took the job. Mr. Brownstone 3G, when are you reverting back to Android and your Nexus devices, or are you buying an iPhone? No, I plan on continuing to use Ubuntu. You know, there's a couple of bits that are missing from the Ubuntu phone for me that I need. Like the main thing is maps. Yeah, it's right, turn by turn directions. But I plan on using Ubuntu. You know, so yeah. Next question. Wow, lots of chatter. Let's see. Nero, will you be incentivizing community? Absolutely. That's the plan. I'm going to be communitizing communities with community tools and incentivizing community with community incentivization. That's my plan. The Lion Roars. Question, actually a couple, sorry. No problem. 3 weeks ago you mentioned that the openness of the hardware for the Ubuntu phone is not a big concern for the average consumer. How do you think it will affect the average desktop user of Ubuntu who probably does really value that control? Do you think that it will alienate those users and other Linux users who voice lack of openness in the hardware as the main reason for wanting an alternative? So Android. Is a 3-year-old phone Nexus 4 the best we can hope for at present? So I think openness for hardware is important. My primary point was that it's not something that we have a lot of control over, right? Like Canonical and Ubuntu can define the lines of like what openness needs to look like in terms of Ubuntu, but in terms of how hardware companies and manufacturers, their views on open hardware, we can't say, like it wouldn't make sense for us to say we will only ship Ubuntu on devices that will be open hardware. I mean, it just wouldn't be in our best interest to do that. And secondly, we can't tell them to do that. So I was just being frank about the nature of the beast. Like, there is going to be some Ubuntu phones, I think, that won't have particularly open hardware. There's not much we can do about that, you know. So that's basically it. Chloe Wolfie Girl, did Popey kick you out of your job because he wanted the place? No, Popey didn't kick me out, and I don't think Popey wants my job. So, I mean, you'll have to ask Popey about that. Do I want to know what you were really searching for when you found the final countdown on ukulele video? Yeah, that was yeah. I saw a tweet earlier on which was someone. I subscribed to a site called Metal Injection that posts heavy metal news, and it was someone who was playing Slayer's Rain in Blood on the banjo. And then there was a link to that of the same guy playing War Ensemble, I think it was, from Slayer on a ukulele. And then there's a link to that for some guy playing the final countdown on this weird like piano thing with a guitar in it with a kazoo on the end. It was pretty magnificent. More people asking about who's going to be my replacement. Again, don't know, folks. Basil, final guitar solo. If you guys want the final guitar thing, I will do it. By the way, just before I forget, I just want to make something very clear as well. These Q&As are going to continue, okay? Every week, same time, same place, 6 p.m. UTC. The Q&As will continue, and my team that I'm leaving, they are going to continue to do it. They'll probably rotate. It won't be the same person every time, but next week, it will be the same, like everybody on the team is going to do it at the same time. So these Q&As are going to continue to happen. I'm really glad that they're deciding to do this because I'd hate this resource to go away. A couple of people have asked about whether I'm going to continue to do a Q&A. I'm going to do a community Q&A. I need to pick a new time to do it, obviously, because I don't want it to conflict with this one, because this is when everybody goes to the Ubuntu one. But I am going to do a community Q&A. And in that, you can ask any question you want, so you'll be able to ask questions about X Prize. But also, if you've got questions about Ubuntu, because you know I spent 8 years working in the sausage factory, right? And some of you may have questions about my perception about what's happening with Ubuntu and with Canonical. So I'm going to do a Q&A there. So if you want to kind of get the you know, a third-party perspective on what's going on, I will be doing that Q&A as well. So you know, obviously I won't have, you know, information that's privy or internal, you know, after I've left XPRIZE. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some people in Canonical who will tell me stuff. They probably shouldn't. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. But I will, you know, I'll continue to do a Q&A. So if you've got Ubuntu questions, or if you just want kind of a perspective on what Ubuntu is doing, then I'll be there. And then if you want to ask questions about community management or about XPRIZE, whatever else, then I'll be there as well. I'll announce that at some point soon. Arsenius, do you have any advice for a student who would like to help open source software as a worker at home? The best thing to do, Arsenius, is to just join a project and start contributing. You know, just being part of a project, you'll learn how to work with other people. You know, you'll learn how to work with other people. You'll explore new ways of working. You'll get great experience, that kind of stuff. So, Mark, dude, am I the only person that feels really proud when Jono uses big words? I don't know if I use big words, do I? Nero, are you training Jack to replace you? No, no. I'm not sure if a 18-month-year-old baby would be a good replacement for me. But you know what? Maybe he is. Maybe you do a better job. I don't know. Probably makes a lot more sense. Drew Nielsen, glad you're not leaving us. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going. Again, I'm still going to be around an IRC. I'm still going to be, you know, available via email. I'm still going to be doing Bad Voltage, badvoltage.org, you know, so go and check that out. I'm still going to be blogging about Ubuntu and using Ubuntu, so that's not changing. You know, I'm going to be a member of the community, that's all. And Shile, is there a replacement, and will he or she do these Q&As? Like I just said, there will be a replacement. We don't know who that is yet, but these Q&As will continue. Christian, where do you see Ubuntu 5 years from now? That's a great question. I don't like making predictions for the future because I'm almost always wrong. I think in 5 years' time, I don't know. I think in 5 years' time, let's break it into the two areas, the client and the cloud. On the cloud side, I think Ubuntu will be the pervasive standard cloud operating system. I think people will be deploying with Juju or whatever the cloud orchestration technology is at that point. I think in 5 years, Ubuntu will, on the client side, will be a significant offering on the mobile tablet side. I think that the conversion story will be complete. Ubuntu will be very popular. I wouldn't go so far as to say whether it will be more dominant than Android or iOS, because I think what's going to happen is it's going to take a year or two for Ubuntu to, you know, for the devices to become truly pervasive on a global scale. So like the first set of devices that come out, you know, the BQ or Meizu devices, they will have some exposure, and then there'll be another round of devices that will come out that will have a wider breadth of exposure, and then the next round of devices will have a wider breadth. And I think it'll take, you know, even once we have that wide breadth of exposure through the phones and the tablets, it'll then take a while for like people to go out and buy them and feel comfortable about using them, the apps to come over. And I think it'll take 5 years to get to that point, is my guess. I'm not speaking officially for Canonical, this is just me hypothesizing, I guess you could say. My guess would be that we will see Ubuntu on different devices as well in 5 years. I think we'll, you know, I think there's an opportunity for Ubuntu to get into other markets. I mean, there's lots of talk, you know, going on these days about wearables, about Internet of Things. I think we'll see different form factors. We'll see probably laptops with maybe docks for phones to go into them. We'll see all kinds of different, you know, there's the possibility that there will be some kind of optics. I don't know. 5 years is a long time in technology, and when you know, in the next year or so, we're going to have a truly convergent operating system that could be deployed into multiple locations. So I think when different device form factors are interesting, I think there'll be a target there. But I think Ubuntu's going to have a very, very positive future moving forward. Really excited about it, you know. And I'm really excited to see, to watch how it goes, you know. I have so many friends who work in the Ubuntu community and work at Canonical, and you know, I'm going to be continuing to be part of that. Nero, in tribute to today's T-shirt, have you tried In-N-Out's animal fries? Absolutely. My favorite thing at In-N-Out is a double animal style with an animal fries and a Diet Coke, because you've got to watch the waistline. The best. Can you tell us a bit about the progress of Ubuntu 14.10? So right now the progress is moving forward. There's lots going on. You know, right now it's still very much at the beginning of a release cycle, so of a cycle. So you know, there's primarily this is like the tool chain pieces are getting into place. Last week at the sprint, there was lots of great work going on in terms of things like push notifications, the new headers that are landing, work that's gone on into the apps around the bottom edge. You know, there's lots of really good stuff going on, as not just for the mobile and you know, the Ubuntu Touch side of things, but also towards the desktop. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, and Michael says, you know, tomorrow there's going to be an Ubuntu engineering update at 2 p.m. UTC, so be sure to check that out. It's a great way to get news on the latest exciting stuff that's going into Ubuntu. Zinal has already asked about the replacement Q&A. He's already answered that. Mr. Brownstone 3G, do you Canonical mobile partners will try to compete with Motorola Moto E? I don't really understand the question. I mean, I think that our mobile partners will be competing with everyone. I mean, the whole idea is that you folks go out and buy, you know, go out and buy their phones. And Charles, is there any open source software that you would like to use in your new job that the community hasn't made yet? Not really. I basically have everything I need, I think. You know, I still don't really know what to expect in terms of the details of my new job. It's a big mystery open book. But you know what? That's the nature of a new challenge, right? And Haynes, does this mean you'll never get a chance to ride in Canonical One? I doubt. I mean, I doubt I'll probably get to go on Mark's plane. But you know what? To be completely honest with you, I don't really care. I mean, I don't have any desire to go on his plane. I mean, you know, going on a private jet is cool, I'm sure, but it's not like it's on my bucket list or anything like that. Maybe at some point in the future, Mark and I will be, you know, going from one place to another, and he'll let me hop a ride with him, just so we can hang out, and you know, I don't know. Drew Nielsen, when will the finished version of Ubuntu for phones and tablets be available, both for installation on Nexus devices and on commercially available phones and tablets? So we already have a stable version of Ubuntu for phones and tablets that's available on. You can put them on the Nexus 4, the Nexus 7 2013, and of the Nexus 10. So you can do that right now. On the commercially available phones, you know, we're expecting those to be out later this year. So yeah. Vasil, when will Mark answer our questions? Mark every so often does a Q&A, often in Ubuntu Open Week, or you know, he's done it at the EDSs or with Ubuntu Online Summit. So yeah, that's the best time for him to do that. Chloe Wolfie Girl, if your job at X Prize ends up not how you want it, would you be able to go back to Canonical, and would you want to? I've been told pretty repeatedly that if I ever want to come back, I can, which I think is really nice. In terms of whether I'd want to, I'd need to assess it at the time. You know, I mean, you know, if I'm at X Prize for a year or 2 years and it's not working out for me, then I'd need to assess where, you know, what my options are at that point. But I'm really appreciative of the fact that, you know, everybody's told me, like, if you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome to, which is really nice. Mr. Brownstone 3G, will your new position bring you back to Blighty? I'm not sure how often I'll get back to England. I probably will get there every so often. You know, X Prize are based in Los Angeles, in Culver City, so I'll be up there pretty regularly, but I'm not sure how much I'll get back to the UK. And Haynes, can you strongly recommend the creation of an X Prize for an Ubuntu One file sync replacement? I'm not sure if an Ubuntu One file sync replacement is a grand challenge that's facing humanity. But get ready for the world's first barbecue X Prize at some point. Chloe Wolfie Girl, are you leaving us so you can remove Ubuntu from your Mac and you can buy an iPhone? Yes, that's the only reason why I'm going, because I can finally use a Mac without any kind of abuse. No, that's not the reason why. Roger Carter, I feel empty about Ubuntu now that you're not there. Don't quit Bad Voltage. All the best to you and your family. Thank you, Roger Carter. Don't feel empty about it. I mean, look, Ubuntu is this is understatement of the year. Ubuntu is a lot more than just me. I'm one person in Ubuntu, and I'll still be part of Ubuntu. But I appreciate the fact that, you know, I've been a public representative of Ubuntu for a long time, and a lot of people have never known Ubuntu without me in it, and I can imagine that that'll be a bit weird. But you know what, people leave and people move on and do other stuff, and you know, I've experienced this before when people have left Canonical. I'll give you an example. Matt Zimmerman, who was, you know, at Ubuntu and Canonical right from the beginning, like a founding father of Ubuntu. You know, when he left to Canonical to go and work, what was that company he worked for? Singly, I think it was. He's now at Heroku. When Matt left, I thought, how can we go on? Like, he was such an important piece. And, you know, we went on, you know, and it's fine. And, you know, that's not that Matt didn't bring any value. Matt brought tons of value. It's just that, you know, different people bring different things. And that's not going to change with Ubuntu. You know, I'm incredibly proud of the team that I've built at Canonical. You know, they are not just great people to work with, but they're really close friends. And you guys are all in really good hands. There's no doubt about that. And in terms of bad voltage, yeah, I'm not quitting bad voltage. Thanks for the kind words. Charles, thanks for your afternoon spent chatting with us about Ubuntu. It's good to have a person rather than a mailing list. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Gordon asked, yeah, what about bad voltage? That's not changed. Bad voltage is staying as usual. Continue to do it. You'll probably just have more random, like, oh, let's talk about water filtration. Mark, dude, does Mark Shuttleworth mind the good-natured comparison to James Bond villains like Ernst Stavro Blofeld, like the rumored Ubuntu Island with the Shark Tank to interview folks? I don't think Mark has any issue with that. He's got a good sense of humor. Neo31, will you keep contributing to Ubuntu as a community member? If so, what do you plan on doing? I do plan on it, yeah. I think I'll probably, my primary contributions as a community member is I think I'll probably do a lot of testing, provide input. I think I'll probably do what Stuart Langridge did when he left, which is basically provide lots of unwanted feedback and input. I'll be continuing to blog about Ubuntu. You know, I think I could probably be useful as someone who people can talk to in the community about what decisions people at Canonical are making, and I can provide a bit of context around some of that stuff as well. So, yeah, that's my primary goals. You know, just testing and providing, you know, input on what's going on. Nero, can you confirm the real reason you're leaving is that the Canonical engineers have finally found a way to duplicate you in the cloud, and that the Jono cluster communitizes more terra posts per second than you can? It's true. I have been replaced by the cloud. Joe.no, by the way. Really? Please tell me that that's not going to exist at some point. Like, I have an awful feeling that Neuro is registering a domain as we speak. Lots of talk about snuggling with Popey. We've never snuggled. Well, I've tried. Let's see. FM Grunge Kid, what do you think about Christopher Lee releasing a heavy metal album on his 92nd birthday, and have you had a chance to listen to it yet? I haven't had a chance to listen to it. Christopher Lee's like toured with Manowar. Yeah, Christopher Lee is extremely metal, there's no doubt about it. Scuttle Monkey, I know the album. Do you see the individual members of your team having more autonomy in each of the sub-communities? I could see it being quite a challenge to keep a strong focal point with someone new who has new goals and focus. I think that they'll have. I don't think they'll have more or less autonomy than when I was running the team. I think they'll just do what they. You know, my team at Canonical has. You know, they do a lot of stuff themselves, right? You know, I try to provide more of a mentoring capacity than a you have to do this, you have to do that. I mean, sometimes I got to say, look, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to see a significant amount of change. I think where they want to focus and where they want to, you know, to spend time will change, but I don't think you're going to see any more or less autonomy than we're seeing today. Nathan Haynes says I should write a tell-all expose. Maybe. There really isn't, I have to say, like, there really isn't anything to expose. I mean, I've seen this, like, when people join in the community, when they join Canonical, and they, you know, they get access to all the internal systems and stuff, and they're like, all right, let's go and see where all the sharps or laser beams are, you know? And it's really disappointing when you find out that, I remember when I became a manager, I'll give you an example, when I became a manager at Canonical, it was about 2007, and I met with Mark in London one time, and he said, I'd like you to, you know, I think we need to build out your team. He said, you know, I want to hire someone to work with upstream communities, which ultimately became George Castro, and then I want to move Daniel Holbach to work for you, which was nuts, because Daniel Holbach was someone who I was really inspired by. I was thinking, really, this guy's going to work for me? This shouldn't be the other way around. So anyway, I became a manager, and because I became a manager, I was added to a management mailing list at Canonical, which a bunch of other managers have been on. So I got added to it, and they have an archive. So I went and I looked all the way through the archive looking for dirt, and I found absolutely nothing. I was quite disappointed. So there really isn't a lot to expose, you know. I mean, there's always stories, but there really isn't a lot to expose. Neo31, is there an estimation of how many phones are planned to be released with Ubuntu Touch in the first month of 2015? I don't know, to be honest with you. There may be an estimation, but I'm not aware of that figure. It's a different team that takes care of that. Let's see. SNWH, good to see you, Sam. Always important. Do you eat peanut butter straight out of the jar with a spoon? You know what? I used to, but I'm married now, so my wife takes a fairly dim view of that kind of behavior, so no. Vasil, will you be angry if I kicked Mark's ass for letting you go? No, I think it would be kind of funny, actually. Go ahead. Not that it's necessarily going to respond. Chloe Wolfigirl, did anyone make you a leaving cake? If not, I'd make you one if I wasn't in the north of the UK. Chloe, I had no leaving cake. No leaving cake. No one cared. No one cared. Actually, so we, on the Friday of Friday of the sprint, what we do at the end of a sprint is we, each of the engineering managers, we put together a single slide that summarizes the decisions and whatever else that we made at the sprint. So I went through and I prepared the slide. I talked with the team, and you know, got up, did my bit, and I finished through the slide, went to sit down. And then as I went to sit down, Pat said, nope, stay stood up. And all of my team stood up, and I thought, oh, God, here we go. And they put together this slide deck of, you know, some funny stuff over the years. And each of the guys in the team had like a little speech. And I'm not going to deny it was incredibly difficult to stop bawling. Like it was to hold it back. You know, I could feel my eyes like welling up, and I stood right in the middle of the room with like all my colleagues surrounding me. It was very, very touching, and yeah. So I don't need no cake. That was tremendous, and it was very, very memorable, if very awkward. Yeah, they basically presented all of like the things that I should probably not have done. You know, falling out of orange trees and cutting myself open and all that kind of stuff. Jose, what's your opinion of RMS.sexy? I've not seen that. Actually, I think I did see it one a while back. It's not right. Mark, dude, will it be like the old Pope hanging out in the Vatican with the new Pope? The new Jono is whom I think will be. My question, if the new Jono is for whom I think it will be, my question is more awesome. I will still be hanging out, yes. Yeah. No comments about Pope. Basil, a question in some kind of foreign script. I don't know what that means. The lion roars after the success of dealing with disrespect. When can we expect your cookbook, Bacon with Bacon? That's a brilliant idea. We'll have to start thinking about that. No cookbook. I'm going on vacation next week, and then I'm back, and I have a week before I start at X Prize. And my plan is, I've written an album, so my plan is to record the album that week. So, let's see. Next question is Neo31. How can I help market Ubuntu Touch devices in my country, in Tunisia and in North Africa, the best thing to do is when they come out, just go and spread the word. Like, just tell everybody about it, point people to it, and ask my team, ask Michael Hall and Dave Planella and Alan Pope, a bunch of other people. You know, they'll be able to give you some guidance as well. Drew Nielsen. So you think it'll be a few years before Ubuntu has the same selection of apps as Android and iOS? Yeah, it'll take time. I mean, that's, everyone knows that. You know, a lot of those apps, a lot of those professional developers need volume of handsets before they're gonna bring their apps over. So I think the way that the BQ Meizu launch is being planned is very, very sensible. Yeah. Chloe Wolfie Girl, are you making out that you like Ubuntu and that your next community Q&A, you'll whenever you hear the name, you'll swear in distress? No. Basil, why unicorn? I don't know. You'll have to ask Matt Shuttleworth. And Shail, do you think other open source projects should do this kind of Q&A? Absolutely. I think this is, it's fun and it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time and people seem to use it. King, what operating system do you use? I use Ubuntu 14.04. Zool, is your liver going to go into remission? My liver has served me well over the years so far, and it's had quite a bit of abuse. But no, not that anybody should consider this to be a good thing for me to say, but I ain't stopping drinking. I take a certain amount of pleasure in having a couple of drinks, so that ain't gonna stop. Arsenis, will Ubuntu phone have a light version? No, it'll just be the same. Mark Dude has a prediction. Mark Shuttleworth will be asking me for advice on how to deal with doing TV interviews. Jono will be on TV often soon. I don't know if I'm going to be on TV. I think there'll be some press-related stuff with XPRIZE that will be different because XPRIZE gets, I mean, they get written up in Time magazine and stuff, so, you know, we'll see. I have already been on TV many moons ago, as Nero points out. Drew Nielsen, can you be more specific about what you think will be the first commercially available phones to be released? I don't know when they're going to be released. I don't know. I think it's going to be towards the end of this year, but I don't know. And that'll be BQ and Meizu, but I don't know specific dates. K1L, looking back at your Ubuntu canonical time, where do you think you should have acted differently? And where do you think you have been criticized wrongly? That's a really, really good question. I think that I don't really have many regrets about my time because I think invariably where I made mistakes, it helped to serve me better in the future. There's a couple of things. I mean, the app review board, when we were going through that whole process of trying to resolve how app developers get stuff into Ubuntu, I won't bore everyone with the details, but basically you used to be able to, like, to get apps into Ubuntu, you had to get them into the archive, and you couldn't update them mid-release. So we put together the ARB, the Apple Review Board, as a solution to that, and we had like a pocket that could be updated, but they needed manual app reviews. This all preceded the Click Store. I think I could have handled the relationship with the App Review Board better because I found it just incredibly frustrating at the time. And it wasn't the folks of the App Review Board. It was just that whole App Review Board thing, which I was a participant in setting up. It was never set up for success, and I think that was something I could have probably handled a bit better. I regret calling Richard Stallman childish. I still disagree with him on Ubuntu shipping spyware. I think it's ludicrous. But I've always held myself to a high standard, and I always preach to other people that you should not show disrespect to other people, and I wrote a book in it, right, about how you handle people with disrespect, and stress caught the better of me, and I called him childish, and it's one word, and I know that like a ton of people said, really, dude, it's not that big of a problem. I know it isn't, but for me, I shouldn't have done that, and I apologized a couple of days later, and the free software folks like to use that to bash me with, by the way, so maybe it gave them a stick to smack me with, so good for them. In terms of how I've been criticized wrongly, I think I've been criticized wrongly a lot over the years. I'm not going to deny that there has been times over the years that when I'm in my job that have been very, very frustrating because people have held me accountable and responsible for decisions that other people make in Canonical. So I've always said, my job, you know, I get way more credit than I deserve, and I get way more criticism than I deserve. And there's been times in the past when people have just been absolutely awful. I mean, you know, some of the things that people have said over the years have just been terrible. But they're a minority. They're a minority of people, and they are typically people who have completely unrealistic expectations. They have zero context, and invariably they are against Ubuntu for whatever reason. So I've been criticized wrongly over the years, but we all have, and I don't hold any animosity to those individuals. I think that in almost all of those circumstances, their criticisms were unwarranted, and therefore I ignore them. So, yeah, I think that would probably be the main things. I mean, there's lots of little things that, you know, I think I could have probably handled better here and there. And there's situations where I wish I was more. There were situations where I wish I was more forceful when I was, you know, when I was slower to respond. But you know what? Hindsight is 20/20, right? Todd DC, best wishes and best of luck. I've enjoyed following you. Thank you very much, Todd DC. Drew Nielsen, how do I keep up with the latest news when it comes to Ubuntu for phones and tablets? Best thing to do is keep an eye on develop.ubuntu.com, planet.ubuntu.com, and just Google Plus. Like, just follow a bunch of people. It's the best thing to do. Basil, will you use the orange box? Probably not. It's not really designed for people like me. I'm not very good as sysadmin, so yeah. Neo31, thank you for all the great work. Thank you very much. Mark, do you also find it amusing that we'll likely see each other next in Portland at CLS, even though we live nearby? Speaking of which, make sure to mention CLS and how that still goes. Good point, Mark, dude. Community Leadership Summit, go to communityleadershipsummit.org. I think it's .org. Community Leadership Summit is happening on the 18th and 19th of July, a couple of days before OSCON. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And Mark, yeah, we need to catch up. It's been a while. Popey, will you now finally try Arch? Nah. Nothing against Arch, but I don't need to. I've got Ubuntu. Mr. Brownstone 3G, in spite of your distaste for sport, will you feel conflicted if England and USA have to something important game? I don't really understand the question, but I still don't care about sport. Okay, got a bunch of questions I'm going to get through before we finish. Nathan Haynes, is your ulterior motive in moving to XPRIZE that Culver City is really close to scale so you can expense it? I'm going to go to scale every year. I'm going to go there on my own dime. I love it, right? I said to my wife, I was like, you know what? If I go to XPRIZE, there's going to be some conferences that I probably can't justify going to. I'm not sure I could justify scale, but I'm going to go there anyway. And you know, scale's in LA, so whatever. She said that's cool. Neuro, how did everyone in Canonical react after you said you were leaving? Just disbelief. We have a mailing list at Canonical called Warthogs, which is our staff mailing list because we're all Warthogs. And I mailed there, and you know, like 60 people responded to something, and they were all, you know, people's response has been, you know, breathtaking. I did not expect people to say what they said. Like, you know, people were saying you're irreplaceable, and who's going to stand in your shoes, and you know, you're a part of the culture that's going. And I never expected that. I expected some people to say, I expected like 5 or 10 people to say, you know, sorry to see you go. I didn't expect that, you know. So yeah, people have just been, you know, amazing. And I'm not going to deny going to Malta last week was really hard. And you know, the decision to leave Canonical and to step down is by far the hardest decision I've ever made in my career, hands down. And it's probably in the top couple of hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. Like, it was a really, really difficult decision to make, because this has been part of my life for so long. And you know, so seeing all of that kind of response from people, much as it was all well intentioned, it made it a little bit more difficult. There was a couple of times in Malta when I felt like I had to just get out and get some fresh air. And like, so some of the guys who are watching this, who are on my team, they probably wonder where I floated off every so often. I just went out to get some fresh air, because I go through moments of, oh God, what am I doing? And then moments of, I'm really excited about the new opportunity. So it was. I now know what bittersweet means. Next question. Levin, World Cup starts soon. Your opinions? My opinion is I don't care about the World Cup. I'm not a sports guy. Drew Nielsen, if I buy a Nexus 4 used, I guess, or a Nexus 10, is it easy to install Ubuntu Touch? Yeah, it's really easy. Just go to the wiki page, or just go to develop.ubuntu.com. The instructions are going to be up there, but they're on the wiki page right now. Caboose, is there any chance of periodical Q&As like this in the future? I'm going to have a regular Q&A, weekly Q&A. You can come and ask me anything you want about anything. So if you want to ask my views on what Ubuntu's doing, Canonical's doing, I'm here to answer your questions. Levin, no! It kicked in. It kicked in. You were leaving. No. Why is this our final Q&A? Is it a joke again? Sorry, no joke. Kiko075. Are the people in XPRIZE using Ubuntu already? I don't think so. I don't think there's any Ubuntu users there. So I'm going to be injecting that into XPRIZE. Basil, who are you and what have you done with Jono? Yeah, I'm just someone who's equally bad looking. He speaks the same. Nick90, would you join the app dev community and create apps and then send your developer experience straight to Zoltan? This is from Nicholas, who was there last week, who gave a big list of feedback to Zoltan. We all thought it was kind of funny. We were joking with Nicholas that he was like abusing Zoltan. In fact, he was nicknamed Dicklish at one point. Yeah, I will send feedback to Zoltan. OMX. How can I be sure that the Ubuntu Touch ROMs made by XDA developers do not include some kind of malware? Jono, good luck. A hug from Mexico. Thank you, OMX. This is a great question, OMX. I don't really know the answer to it. You'll probably best off asking Dan Holback. Vasil, who are those people that were mean to you when? Who are those people that were mean to you when I'm done with OMX Mark? I will kick their asses as well. There's been a lot of people who've been kind of mean to me over the years, but it's just, again, it's just part of the deal, you know, occupational hazard. Caboose, what would be a good last piece of advice you could give to all the Ubuntu users before you go? I think the main thing is that, you know, Ubuntu has just got an incredible opportunity to change the world. That's my son, by the way, if you wonder what the baby noise is. I've said this to a couple of people when I said I was leaving. The reason why I joined Canonical back in 2006 is because I want to have, this is going to sound potentially egotistical, I want to have a profound impact on the world before I leave it, right? I want to be able to I want to be sat in my rocking chair, rocking backwards and forwards, and thinking about my life and thinking about the people who I knew and the people the experience that I've had, and I want to be able to say to myself, I made the world a better place. It might just be one tiny improvement, but I want to say that. I joined Canonical because that gave me the opportunity to do that, right? Ubuntu is there to change the world. It is there to democratize software. It's there to give people access to technology that's easy to use, that's freely available to everybody. Those values have not changed at Canonical. Those values have not changed in Ubuntu. Ubuntu continues to be freely available to everybody, accessible, available in your language, and that's why I joined. That's why I joined Canonical. You know, my decision to go off to XPRIZE is a continuation of that desire to, you know, to have a profound impact in the world, or a goal to do that. And I'd say that, you know, like I said, you know, I'm not leaving Ubuntu out of lack of faith. I still believe that Ubuntu can continue to have a profound impact in the world, but the only way in which you can do that is with the community. Canonical is a big company, right? But it's not that big, and the community is critical to the success of Ubuntu. If the community gives up on Ubuntu, it will not succeed. It's as simple as that. Ubuntu could conceivably be turned into just another very boring piece of software that serves a set of people who we don't really care about. Like, it could be a kind of it could conceivably turn into a boring alternative to Android. But I don't think any of us want that. We want Ubuntu to have a significant impact in the world, people to have access to technology. And I think that my only advice would be, like, just keep on keeping on. You know, like, you've got a great team, you know, who are a great community team at Canonical, who are doing amazing work. They're going to be great leaders to help everyone to be successful. We have amazing technology, a great opportunity that's ahead. And Canonical made really hard decisions, really difficult decisions to get us to the point that we're in right now. Like the switch to Unity was incredibly complicated and incredibly difficult at times, but it was the right decision because we're now in a position where we can convert, where we can go and target all of these different markets and get free software out there. So my advice is very simple and it's very cliched, like just keep on contributing to Ubuntu. It's really, really important. Basil, where can I find Ubuntu 1.0? If you're talking about the phone, just do a search on Google for for how to install Ubuntu Touch and you'll be able to find it. Mr. Brownstone, good luck at XPRIZE and thanks for your Ubuntu insight. Thank you very much. SNWH, did you pick Malta as Mediterranean getaway for your last developer sprint? I didn't pick it, someone else did it, but it was a good location. Chloe Wolfie Girl, late April Fools. About leaving. Sorry, this is not April Fool. Neuro, can Jack come in and say hello? Jack has gone to bed. He's gone down for his nap, so sadly not. And Mr. Brownstone 3G, do you regret never recommending Skegness as a location for a sprint? I had no say in sprint locations, but Skegness, yeah, it probably wouldn't have been on the list. Basil, guitar solo. Yeah, do you folks want guitar? If you want guitar, let me know. Basil, I won't stop asking for a guitar solo. P.S. Good luck for your future endeavors. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate the kind words. We're out of questions. Got 5 minutes left. Any final ones? Any final questions? Let me know. Let me know. Any final questions? Okay, guitar, yes. All right, so we're gonna have some guitar. Tell you what, I'll play some guitar right now. Get any final questions in. Actually, no, I can't. I can't play the guitar because my son just went down for a nap. So sorry, no guitar. I don't want to disappoint you folks, but I also do not want to wake him up. So let's see. Basil, where can I find the first ever Ubuntu image? I've already answered that. You can. Oh, the very first Ubuntu image ever. Go to cdimages.ubuntu.com. You'll be able to find them there. Chloe Wolfie Girl, do you know that we love you? You know what, Chloe? I do, and it blows me away how friendly and cool everybody's been about everything. You people are the nicest people in the world, literally. So I hope you all don't hate me after I've gone. So I'll still be around, right? So okay. Mr. Brownstone 3G, will you be having Michael Meeks and Biology? I think it'd be great to have Michael on there, yeah. I'll have to reach out to him. Nick90, do you realize that we're going to be forcing you to do your Q&A next week as well? There will not be a Q&A next week because I'll be on holiday, but the week after, I'll do a Q&A. And Charles, what will be your main responsibilities at XPRIZE? Good question. So XPRIZE, like I said earlier on, the goal of XPRIZE is to identify the major challenges that face humanity. Things like access to energy, to food, clean water, people being able to diagnose themselves with health issues. There's issues around disease. Then there's opportunities, things such as AI and how AI can be used, to solve major issues. The basic philosophy here is that we're in a period of exponential change. Is that if you look at technology and as it's growing, there's an exponential growth curve. It's doubling all the time. There's a bunch of futurists who've tracked this, and that gives us an idea of where we're going to be in the future. And the view of XPRIZE and the founder of XPRIZE is that all of these problems are solvable. But invariably, there are challenges in the way of encouraging people to solve them. So typically, it's do companies really want to invest in it? So the idea of XPRIZE is they incentivize solving these major world issues and have big prize purses. And what you actually get is in many cases, hundreds of teams who want to solve these problems. So you get hundreds of millions of dollars of investment for maybe a $10 million prize. Peter Diamandis, who is the founder of X Prize, I'd really encourage you to go and check out some of his videos. He does this amazing one, The World in 2050, where he talks about incredibly inspiring stuff. Peter, you know, like I said, they made this job for me, and Peter said to me, he believes that community is critical in everything they do, from how they pick prizes, to how they fund them, to how the teams can work together, to how the teams can compete with each other, to how people know about the problems that are being solved. So my job is to go in there, it's a complete blank canvas, and say, how can we inject community into everything, right? And I don't really know what I'm going to do, but my job is, when I first start, I'm going to sit down and just brainstorm about what this is going to look like, and get input from various people. That's basically the plan. So it's you know, it's from a community management dork's position, it's just this incredible opportunity where I can map out a community that relates to solving the major problems of our time. And even though I'm not expecting that, even though a lot of these problems are going to take 10 years to solve, if I can be just one cog in that machine that makes my son's world better, then that will be incredibly satisfying for me. And and it's a different organization. Like, community is just part and parcel of Canonical. It was defined by Mark Shuttleworth when he set up Canonical and set up the Ubuntu community and started the Ubuntu project. It's community is not so well known at X Prize. So like, I've got a lot of internal education and things like that. So yeah, that's basically it. Let's see. Neuro, can you finish off by just looking into the cam and saying deadpan in your best Einstein voice, "I'll be back"? I can try it. All right. I'll be back. There you go. Pretty sure that's going to be used against me at some point in the future. Mika 2, what was your favorite memory from your time at Canonical? Favorite memory? I have so many great memories. My favorite memory, I'd say, let's divide it into a social memory and a work memory. My favorite social memory was the Friday night party in Prague with people dancing on tables and playing this live gig, and it was just awesome. Favorite work, I think probably the work-related thing, like community thing. I think one of my favorite memories was the Ubuntu Edge. Like, it was just such a fun thing to be part of. I have so many great memories over the years. Just incredible. Mark, dude, since you can't play music, I assume you also wear Dockers. At what point did you notice you were old? I'm not old, Mark. Alket, I was on your first and now last episode. Thank you, Alket, for joining. Mr. Branston 3D, do X Prize and Shuttleworth Foundation collaborate? Not right now, but who knows in the future. Vasil, this isn't a question, but I don't care. I just want to say that this is the one thing I was looking forward to for this every week. After one long week full of idiots that don't care about innovation, I can speak with someone who speaks my language. Thank you so much, Vasil. Appreciate it. Roger Carter, I'm going to stand up and clap at the end of your Q&A. Thank you, Roger Carter. Chloe Wolfergill, when are you quitting X Prize? My final day. When are you quitting X Prize to work at Canonical? Oh, okay. I misread your question. I thought you were saying when are you quitting? What's my last day? My last day is on Thursday. I have no plans to quit X Prize. Not yet, anyway. Last few questions. Drew Nielsen, when Ubuntu phones and tablets commercially available, will development for Ubuntu on Nexus devices continue? Yes, I think so. JK123, does Canonical expect Google to port their apps over to Ubuntu Touch as native apps? I'd be surprised. Services is where Google trap you in Android. Vasil, will you come to Bulgaria? I'd love to at some point. And then the final question, Enchild, do you think open source should do more crowdfunding like the Edge? Yes, absolutely. Well, that's it, my friends. We're over time. This will not be the last time I will be talking to you on Hangouts. As I said, I will continue to do Q&As, and I really hope that all of you come. Come and ask your questions about Ubuntu, or your questions about open source, or your questions about community, or your questions about X Prize. I think that it might be a useful resource for people to ask, you know, like I say, I spent 8 years with Canonical. I spent 8 years, you know, working as part of this community, and some of you may want to ask questions about what's going on. I can provide some input. So this isn't the last time, but this is going to be the last time I'm going to be talking to you on a Hangout as the Ubuntu Community Manager. And I just want to say, like, you folks are incredible. And I got involved, I remember the day I first read about the open source community when I bought this book, Slackware Unleashed, and I was 18, and the notion of community captivated me. I spent my entire life being passionate about community, and every single one of you folks are a good example of what makes this so important, so fun for everybody involved. Community has got the opportunity to change the world, have a significant and profound impact across the world, whether it's through open source or whether it's through Wikipedia, whether it's through XPRIZE or whatever it might be. It's people working together to do incredible things. So, you know, I can't thank you enough. You've all been incredibly generous to me about, you know, thanking me, but I just want to send all of that goodwill towards all of you as well. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. All right, folks, take care.